Hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm disappearing, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft Mesified server, flying around in the sky with my wings, having a good time here. We are heading over to Rendog's glass shop. I do believe it's called the Glass Emporium. The reason we're heading over there is because we are going to be building an industrial glass smelting machine in this episode. We are going to be doing some redstone. It's going to be a lot of fun, and man, I'll tell you what's a lot of fun. Just flying around like this. I could do it all day. Let's get a nice little landing there. Excellent. Great way to land in a spot is just to keep turning around, because you kind of lose your momentum as you turn, and then you end up at one spot. You don't take any collision damage. And if you haven't seen the last few episodes, me and Ren have been over here a couple of times. We've been doing some Logfellas, Plotfellas stuff together. And you may have seen that we talked about upgrading his smeltery system over here. So this is the glass shop. You've got the upper floor here. There is this wonderful quartz staircase that leads down. I love the way this place looks. Really cool. And it leads to the second floor where we've got a whole bunch more glass that you can buy. Now what we need to do is upgrade the furnace system for Ren. And I've got a good idea on how to do this. We need a junk item to throw onto this little spot. Bam, like that, and then, yeah, well, that was good. I was trying to show you in action and forgot to stand next to, come on now, there we go. Right, stand on the block, fall down. Excellent, we're through. We're into the area. So, what we're going to be doing is changing a lot of what you see right here and upgrading Ren's furnace system. There's nothing wrong with this one right here, it works. But what we're going to do is automate it so that rather than have a chest for sand, a chest for fuel, and a chest for your glass that you get out, on each furnace setup like we got here, we're going to have like universal ones over at this end, and then we're going to use minecarts and such to send all of the items around into the furnaces and back out again, so you don't have to keep coming along and, you know, working with each chest individually when you want to pick up your glass or put your fuel in or take out your sand. So it should make Ren's life a lot easier. Now I've stocked up, as you can see. We got some iron over here because we're probably going to use a lot of hoppers. We've got loads of wood to make the hoppers with. We've got a stack of furnaces. We've got some rails, all of our redstone stuff, and I'm pretty prepared, I believe. There's probably going to be something where I'm like, oh dear, I've completely forgotten about this. And one of those things is actually powered rails. We'll need a lot of those, but we've got the gold shop nearby, so I can go grab some gold, and we can craft some of those. In fact, let's go there right now. Let's go there right now and see if we've sold any more gold. Wow, we have sold some more gold. That is quite remarkable. I'm going to guess now that that's the only chest that's got extra sales in. So those 2 diamonds I knew about. One extra one there I wasn't aware of. Okay, yep, we've got... Wow, they are new to me as well. We've got one with 6 somewhere in as well. And that'll probably be the last one. There it is. Excellent. 38 diamonds. I am so impressed with how well this shop is doing. Awesome. Let's take 3 of those. That should be enough to make a whole bunch of rails. Right, let's get back over to the glass shop. Do you know what? You don't get your item back. Does it go in here? Yeah, I think it goes in here. I've thrown 2 torches in there, I believe. Or maybe it was 3. Don't really need them back. They're just torches. And there is a whole bunch of random stuff in there. Alright then, anyway, the next step is to actually dismantle what Ren has built here. It feels a shame to do so because this is a pretty cool setup, but we're going to use this same space, and we're going to set it up so we've got a row of furnaces on one side, maybe a few at the end there, and a row on this side over here as well. So it's going to be like a big U shape, but in order to start building it, we need to clear all of this stuff out. Do you know what? I am really enjoying tearing this down and watching the items fly all over the place. There is something strangely satisfying about destroying stuff sometimes, and I don't know what it is, but you know, creating is good as well. I'm a little worried as to why this brown is here. I think Rendog just forgot about it. Yeah, for a second there I thought there might be another build directly behind here. Anyway, we're steadily tearing it down. Look at how much glass Rendog has produced here. Got a double chest and then some crazy stuff, and of course loads of blaze rods here for the fuel. Anyway, let's continue pulling this thing down. It won't be long now. Okay, so onto the layout. Now that we've cleared out all of this stuff, we can think about how we want this to look. It's going to go something like this. We have furnaces with hopper behind it for fuel, hoppers above to put the items in, and then a chain of hoppers leading outwards into a chest. So this is where you will collect your glass, and the minecarts will deliver the items into these two bits. Now, I kind of want to keep to what Ren's got going on here, and what we're going to do is, rather than push into this space, is just extend in that direction. So all of this will get pushed over that way a bit. But I was just looking at the hallway here. He's got like a 4 wide thing going on, and I was thinking, well, this is currently 3 wide at the moment. If we would start building over here, maybe what we should look at doing though is giving this a bit of a window, perhaps. So we'd have iron blocks on the side here, just like we got over there. Then we'd have some glass in front of the furnaces like this, which means you wouldn't be able to access them, which might be something Ren would want to do. But you could always remove the glass temporarily. And then copying what we've got on the floor down here. So we would have 2 lots of quartz and iron like that. So iron, quartz, quartz, iron again, and then this is where the next bit would start. So you would see glass here, and then you would have your furnaces behind it. So it means we've got to dig back in that direction a fair bit. But we keep the theme going, which is an important thing. Now, I don't think these furnaces are going to come all the way up to the edge here, because you can see that we've got something going on with the sea lanterns, which looks pretty cool. Maybe we repeat that again. There's probably room for like an iron block wall and then another group of 4 sea lanterns. So when building this, I'm very much trying to keep what Rendog has already done and just sort of expand on it a little bit. And that is my keeper. That's good to know. Means we can pick these up. Okay, so we're looking at something that sort of size. Well, that's incorrect. Let's put a extra furnace there just to remind myself. And we could actually have this one go a little bit further along. There's going to be some sort of empty space over here. But who knows what we'll do with that. So, anyway, one of the first problems to think about is where these tracks are going to go. What we'll have is one set of chests for adding fuel and adding the items that you want to smelt, and it will deliver them to all of these furnaces. So with them being on either side, it means that they're going to go around the corner at the end here, which means we're actually going to do away with this possibly. I might keep this corridor coming through here. It certainly would be possible to do so, but what we could then have is perhaps something like this, where at the end here you've got just a few more furnaces on this corner, which could look pretty cool. I just don't know which way around I want to do it at the moment. But one thing's for sure is that over here we need to send the items up and over to get them past this corridor. And I don't know if this will work, but if you imagine there's rails here, this one's going to be diagonal. So if it will actually distribute into that hopper or not, I'm not sure. But it then means that the ceiling can go up like this. So we will simply lower it down by 1 block for this area right here. So it will look something more like that going across, which I think is okay. It's definitely nicer having a high roof sometimes, but we want to make it all look good, not just have this random iron block going a little bit lower there. So that's one of the problems with the layout as well. So something rather important has just occurred to me. If the tracks are going around here, then this needs to be a dead end. It doesn't need to go up there, which means we don't need to lower the roof over here. Now, I have done some testing. This rail will get treated like a normal one with the hopper down below, so you don't need to worry about that being a slope. It all works as normal. So this doesn't need to be low, which means the whole roof could just stay as it was, which would probably look a lot nicer, right? That doesn't need to be there, basically. And then going down this way, it means that this roof here will then be lower if we're going to keep it like this. And I think we'll just make this a dead end. But it also means that we can extend this out a little bit further. We can have more furnaces here in total. I mean, technically, we could just go digging in that direction for as long as we'd like. But what I'll probably do is count all of these and bring it up to like a certain number. Like that's 4. Then we've got 8. 12, so we'll probably put 2 more and make it 16 on either side. That sounds really quite reasonable, actually. So 32 furnaces in total. Okay, so this is the layout right here. We have 15 on either side and 2 at the ends, and that's 32 in total, so changed it up again ever so slightly. Now the rails go around like this, which is all good, simple to understand. And if we go down and around to the other side, you can see how I've tidied up the end here. I had to make the room just a little bit shorter so it all looked like nice and symmetrical here, which it does. Very cool stuff. And now I guess we get to move on to some of the more technical redstone stuff, which is how we're going to load up these two tracks over here. So somewhere in this space I need to put together two loading mechanisms that can easily be accessed from this space right here. I've got a feeling that's going to end up with some sort of chest frame like this, like we're going to have a group of chests there and then maybe another group of chests right here, and that's the way that you distribute the items. As for how you get your items out of this thing, I don't think I've had the smartest of ideas here. Well, let's think about this. It comes all the way down to here, so the idea is that we go down and under, and then we bring it up somewhere over here. So this will probably end up having another set of chests for getting your items back as well. The thing is though, if we did bring them over on this side, something similar would probably happen, because the chests that we're going to put in the walls are going to be higher up than where those hoppers are. So you know, the items are already low down, so there'll be some sort of item elevator. So those, I guess, are the three things we've got to focus on: the two inputs and the output, and then this project will pretty much be ready for a test run. Alright then, we built two minecart loaders here. If you've been watching the recent episodes, you may have seen we actually built this with Rendog and then tore it out because we realised it wasn't quite what we needed, and that's sort of true here. There is a little bit of a problem, which is if a minecart has no items in it and there are no items to be loaded into it, it will go back and forth around the track, where we would actually like it to just sit right here. So if there's no items here, no items in the minecart, both of these comparators are off, and you can see it's not going to stop the minecart. So that means they'll be travelling around a lot, which is not desirable. So I might come back here and, you know, redo this at some point. But both of the tracks have been hooked up. The lower one goes straight down and around to this one here, as you can see. The higher one goes across, round the outside, and around into this one over here as well. So the next thing is to bring the items across. We have, let's see, a dropper right here. Let's put a temporary block there. We've got to have a chain of hoppers going underneath here all the way to the other side, and then we've got to build that item elevator, and it will drop the chests in here. And by the way, this is how it's going to look from the side. So we'll put down like an item frame next to this and one for that one, telling you which is which, and then this is going to be where all the glass goes at the end. So we are almost done here now. I just got to put iron blocks going all the way down this side. I can't help but feel that this block here should maybe be something different, so we'll probably come back and look at that later, but that's sort of how this whole room is going to look. Let's get rid of this right here. Very clean, very simple. I like it. And I finished wiring up the stuff back here as well. Wiring up. I like that phrase because you're sort of not really dealing with wires, but you know what I'm talking about. The hoppers now come underneath over to here. Little elevator going up with this design that we've been using for a long time now. We used it over at the pigman farm, and then the items go into the chests over here. So the next thing that is required is a test, and we need some sand to do that. So we're going to take a trip to the desert and fill our inventory up for the sand. Okay, I believe we should see exactly that, the minecart coming back around. It's now going to fill up with sand, so it must have used, yeah, look at that, almost the whole stack when it went around, and now it's refilling up. So when this thing is full, that's when it'll get sent on its way. It's something I forget about this, is that the comparator there is hooked up to that redstone, which has a strong signal strength. Bit of a mouthful. There we go. Off it goes again. So now that's going to be distributing all of the sand into the furnaces. That's good. The next thing to do is with the blaze rods. I'm going to do this the cheeky way, because we need either the chests to be empty or the blaze rods to be full. What we're going to do to show you in action is put... well, we could put a minecart chest down to begin with. How about that? There it is. I had actually already done that. Let's put in a full stack. That should be plenty. And then when that has finished transferring the items, that thing is going to go on its way. So now all of them are going to get fuel. I'm going to dump those in there. Then we're going to hop around to the front, and we should see them all light up one by one. But of course, I've taken my time getting around here, and this is interesting. I think I know why some of them might, yeah, there you go, not be lighting up, is because other blocks have fallen in during construction. So now we can see that and fix it. But there you go, look at what's happening. The sand is getting distributed to all of these furnaces, and so is the fuel. It looks like we have successfully built this, possibly without any hiccups, fingers crossed. I am a little bit concerned as to what's going on here, because these ones aren't getting any sand, are they? Well, that one probably is. So there's something wrong with the ones on that corner, but these ones over here are okay. Well, that didn't take long to solve. I literally didn't do this with hoppers. I just put furnaces on there, and there you saw it. The hopper minecart going past, so we've got to be quick here. Got to put down these extra rails again, and I think something might have gone into the furnace. Anyway, you know, that's all we've got to do to clean this thing up, and then I think we've done it. Oh, also, we have one more thing to check, actually. Any glass in here? We can't check the top chests, because those need to be quartz, not iron blocks. Aha, so it looks like we may have actually found a problem. The glass is getting backed up here. There is... Right, did that somehow make its way in there from construction and it's actually fine? I'm not hearing any clicking because it's silent. It's literally a silent elevator. That's why I chose to build that one. Okay, so... Yeah, look at that. The glass is going in. Awesome stuff. This is a trapped chest, by the way. So each time I open it, you're going to see a little bit more glass. But because it's trapped, it means it locks the hopper behind it. So yeah, the glass is working. That's awesome. One more little thing here to fix and it's all done. Okay, it's almost filled up with fuel, which means it's about to go on its way. There goes the other one. Excellent. And now we should see them all light up one by one. Look at that. Excellent stuff. Everything is being delivered. And there you go. I've tidied up some of the chests as well. And that's it. This project is done. I think we've done a terrific job here. I'm sure Ren will like it. Alright, we've got another project in mind for this episode. We're going to be building a tunnel between our portal back there and the one around the corner to the Guardian farm, which is another part of our base. And in order to do that, I needed some ink sacs to craft some dark prismarine. Couldn't for the life of me remember where I put the ink sacs, so I went to AFK up at the gold farm. That's why I got loads of gold right here. And then when flying down with my elytra, I graciously landed on the bedrock and it said Asuma fell from a high place and I died. It was ridiculous. So I went up there, got all of my items back, lost all my levels at 140, and on the way back down here I then remembered, aha, I know where the ink is, it's over here. And that's also reminded me that we need to do something with this. So we've got two more things to do. We've got to sort out our portal over there, and then we've got to make a little room in the brown district for all of these banners, because I want other people to be able to access these. So anyway, we've got ink sacs now. It takes 1 stack of ink sacs for each stack of dark prismarine. I don't know how much we're going to need. I don't think it's going to be more than 4 stacks, but we're going to get 6 stacks of this stuff for now. So I'll get that crafted up, I'll gather all of our materials, and that means that we can start work on this nether portal tunnel over here. So we are making preparations, gathering materials, and then that's when I remembered that there is this shop over here, which I believe was built by Wells Knight. If we have a look at the front here, it says Wells and Mumbo's Bone Barn. Now that definitely looks like a Wells build to me. I believe that Mumbo supplies him with the bones here, and lovely interiors as well. I do like this shop very much, but what I like most about it is the price. Bone blocks, 1 stack for 1 diamond. That is a price that will create a loyal customer out of me. I think that is a very generous price right there, and we're going to take as much as we can and fill the rest of this chest up with diamonds. Excellent stuff, a great price. I have also got way more bone blocks than I need for this build, but it's nice to have, you know, a good supply of stuff. Okay, let's do this. I'm looking forward to some building. I know exactly what we're going to be doing here because we did this during a live stream. You probably hear me mention the live streams a lot, and if you're not familiar with what live streaming is, it's basically where on Twitch I go and play live and talk to the chat live, you know, all the people watching, send in messages, and, you know, I mention it so often, I forget that some people don't know what a live stream is. So that's what it is. If you're ever interested in it, I stream on twitch.tv/xisuma, and I put videos out here on the channel when I go live. Now, what I'm creating is what we came up with in that stream. This little pattern right here is ever so pleasant on the eyes. I think these 2 blocks go together very well, and the sea lanterns in the middle are no effort easier. Now, I had a lot of comments during that stream to try these 2 the other way around and put the quartz around the sea lanterns, and personally I felt like it didn't make too much of a difference, and I liked how this block looked next to that one because there's a lot of green going on around the outside, and this is slightly more coloured than the quartz. So for me, it looked a little bit better that way. Anyway, that is going to be the floor. Then we're going to build up the sides like this. And what you got to think with this is ocean monument, you know. We've stuck to using the blocks, with the exception to these ones from the ocean monument itself. And we start off with the prismarine bricks, which look a little bit more structured. Then we go up to the prismarine, which is animated. If you stare at this thing for a long time, you'll notice that it changes color, which is really cool. And at the top we have the darkest, the dark prismarine itself. Now I just crafted up 6 stacks of this, and not even a stack used already, and that's all we need on that side. We're going to do it on the other side as well, so definitely crafted more than I needed, and you can really start to get a sense of what is going on here. And that is it. We only needed a stack and 10 blocks of dark prismarine. I have certainly gone overboard, but it doesn't matter now. And by the way, all of this is encased with cobblestone. The reason why is so that if ever a stray ghast shoots at one of these, you know, they protect, the cobblestone protects the blocks that we got right here. So looking pretty good, right? It's got a nice feel to it. I like it, but the best thing really is the ceiling. That is going to bring it to life. Absolutely going to bring it to life. And what we're going to start off with is a little bit of glass up there. Once all that's in place, I'll explain what goes above it. And we can actually build that together because it's going to be a process of creating something random. I've also just thought about this back here. By the way, we had to move our portal around so that we didn't interfere with Tango's tunnel. So this ended up being in a slightly different position to what it was in before. But it is absolutely fine. And I'm also just thinking we need some bone blocks back here as well. That is a pretty ugly looking roof, right? Well, it's because of all that netherrack. Apparently I missed a block over there. Why do I think that that was lag? I remember placing all of these blocks. Anyway, check it out. You can kind of see what we're going for here. The blue represents water, and the netherrack above it is currently making it look awful. So imagine it's not there. Yeah, we've got our temple down here, then we have the sand at the surface, and we see the water up the top. It's all sort of, yeah, about representing where this place goes to. So the next thing for us to do is to get on top of this place. I don't know exactly how we're actually going to do that. Remove that netherrack and then place a load of randomized blocks up there, which are going to then represent the ocean. I think unfortunately what we're going to do is make a temporary staircase over here and just bust through the roof to get to that netherrack. So how do we make this roof look more watery? We of course pick some colours that are going to look good up there and give that impression, and we've got them right here. We'll start off with the most expensive, which is the lapis, so we're going to put down, let's say, 8 of these blocks, try and get them feeling a bit randomised. I cannot talk and count, I think it's another 3. So actually let's just make it 9 like that. Then we're going to throw in some light blue. So we're starting off with the blues. We're going to put in, do you know what, I'm just not going to count. I'm just going to go with what I feel like. There we go. And then we're going to put some of these in as well and just try and break it up a little bit. By the way, I've dug this out so that I can put cobblestone all around it as well. And that will just protect it. And that's probably too much of that stuff. The one that we're going to use the most of is the blue. So as we place this down, we want to look for the occasional pocket to put in some cyan. That's going to just give it that kind of coral reef vibe, I think would be the way to express that one. And yeah, let's just chuck a few of these in. Anyway, so let me fill all this up. We'll go down below and see what it looks like. Okay then, moment of truth. We walk through, we look up, and what do we see? Oh yeah, that's definitely got the ocean vibe going on. I like it. I like it a lot. And you know what? I feel like there are some places where there is a bit too much blue. The lapis doesn't really jump out at all, does it? I think I might just put in a couple more of the packed ice ones up there. So I'll make some changes to that. I'll encase the area up there in cobblestone. But otherwise, check it out. We're done here. This is it. This is the tunnel. Doesn't it look very, very cool? I think it's turned out really good. So I said that we were going to do something for these banners, and I'm starting to run out of time a little bit, and I think what I'd like to do is make sure I get this next area correct. So let's have a look. We've got the basement of the brown area, as I've sort of been calling it, or the building above, and then False has added in a extra section down below, which is a tunnel that leads to the white area. I love that sort of stuff, things connecting up, and you know, just all these little bits and bobs going on around the place. It's all real good. Anyway, this is going to extend downwards to another floor, and in here I want to have like an archive of banners that are going to be useful for people. So when someone wants to come and make themselves a bunch of letters, it shouldn't be difficult. It should be a case of copying whatever's in the chest. But I don't really have the time to do a room right now, and I think it's something I would actually like to take my time on. So here we go, we've got the alphabet right here, and this will be its home. And then what we'll probably do over time is make a few more of these with different colour combinations, as grey might not be the one that the hermits are after, but this is the place that it's going to go. And so this expansion, you know, is going to need some design. We did a really good job on this room. I actually really like this. Every time I come into this room, I'm thinking, yeah, this turned out great, and so I want to put in the same sort of time and effort and not rush this thing. So it's been a productive episode. We've sorted out Ren's smelting situation, upgraded that, and we've made a Nether tunnel, and all is good. So if you've enjoyed this episode of Hermitcraft, please do leave a like. As always, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.